Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you will enjoy the show today because we're filming out at the Whitetail Park off of Roanoke Road. I have two exciting guests to be talking about tourism and also some summer safety tips. So stay tuned for those interviews coming up in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to City Week. I am out at the Whitetail Park and being joined today by the Vice President of Marketing and Tourism, Dave Marler, and also from the Troup County Parks and Recreation, I have on as guest J.J. Kersey. Welcome you both to the show.
Thank you.
Well, you know, we're out here today. It's a little damp, a little humid outside, but it's still beautiful because we're out on the beautiful West Point Lake here off of Roanoke Road. And I'm going to start with you, JJ. If you don't mind, just tell us a little about your role as the Troup County Parks and Recreation.
Okay, so I oversee several facilities for Troup County Parks and Recreation, including the one on the Parkway, Mike Daniel Recreation Center, as well as I also assist Dave and the Chamber from a sports tourism side to help bring in sports tourism and events to Troup County.
Okay, well, very good. Dave, as the Vice President of Marketing and Tourism, talk a little bit about your role.
Well, as the Chamber liaison to the tourism industry, we work to promote Troup County as a destination for outdoor lovers, for history lovers, for people who enjoy getting away and enjoying a quiet weekend in downtown LaGrange, West Point, and Hogansville. We represent the entire county. But we work closely with JJ to bring in, as she said, sports tournaments, major fishing tournaments, all of which help to create an economic impact. According to the latest numbers we have from 2016, that number is $160 million in economic impact just for Troup County.
Oh my.
The state has recently released a total number for 2017, which indicates $63 billion in economic impact was generated through tourism activities across the state. So it's clear that what we're doing and what they're doing at the state level to promote tourism is working, and we want people to know that Troup County is open for business in terms of tourism activity.
Absolutely. So this is a valuable asset that we have here in our community, and I think it's 26,000 acres.
26,000 acres, 525 miles of shoreline, and just a remarkable natural resource.
Absolutely. And let's talk about, because JJ, you mentioned about some of the tournaments and things of that nature. What have we seen as perhaps the biggest tournaments that we have coming to our community?
Well, we've got several major tournaments that come in that range anywhere from 200 boats to 100 different boats. This past year, we've had 7 or 8 tournaments, which have brought in more than 750 boats for this year, which you can figure at least 2 anglers per boat. So that's our large tournament sector that we've been promoting, as well as we have small weekend tournaments here, Highland Marina, Pine Road Park, and those tournaments we probably see. I know Highland Marina has probably one every weekend. Pine Road Park has one at least 2 to 3 weekends a month. And those are charity events which bring in people from Atlanta to Montgomery and all that want to do something local. And it's an easy sell. People love West Point Lake. It doesn't matter if they're going out at Pine Road Park, Highland Marina. Both places are beautiful, and people love to come because it's very hospitable.
Absolutely. And you know, you say it's an easy sell because anytime you think about water, beautiful weather, that's always, you know, just a kind of a natural fit. Dave, you were giving us a moment ago the numbers from the state and also from Troup County. 160 million, don't want people to overlook that.
Right.
160 million alone just for Troup County. Does that equate to, can you have a number of visitors that equate to?
Well, in terms of visitors to the lake, the numbers we receive indicate about 3 million visitors to West Point Lake every year.
Okay.
And that includes local people, but also, as JJ mentions, people from around the region and probably actually around the southeast. And we have actually heard anecdotal reports of a group that comes from Indiana each year, a group of guys that come down all the way from Indiana for an annual fishing trip.
Oh,
so
man.
West Point Lake has a national reputation, and we draw people from all over the country.
Absolutely. And Dan, you were talking, and along with those numbers, we were talking about those 3 million visitors. We recently passed the SPLOST. And when those visitors come in, they sleep in the hotels, they eat at the restaurants. Talk about the importance of that and the passage of that SPLOST, if you don't mind, and some of the things we're perhaps going to be able to do with those funds.
Well, absolutely. In addition to SPLOST, of course, tourism efforts in Troup County are funded by a hotel motel tax. And when visitors come in, spend the night in our lodging properties, we benefit from that. And the SPLOST 5, there was an allocation for Pine Road Park to have a multi-use facility, which is much needed. Currently, if we have large fishing tournaments come to town, we have to find other accommodations for their registration and awards banquets and those type of things. When that facility is up and running here, hopefully within a couple of years, that's going to add a whole new asset that will open us up to draw larger tournaments that we've been unable to host in the past. The beauty of that facility will also be that local folks can use it for different group meetings. We'll have somewhere for family reunions to utilize. So the new facility there will really make a big difference in Pine Road Park.
Absolutely. And talking about Pine Road Park, I know that some years ago it underwent some some changes, some renovations, various things of that nature. And I know that the SPLOST 5, some of the funds, as you stated, will be allocated for that. And there's a multi-purpose trail. JJ, can you speak about that?
Okay, so we do across the road from Pine Road Park have a horse arena and a multi-purpose trail system set up where people can go run, bike, and our local saddle club as well as some. Groups come and do horseback riding and that sort of thing as well. So we're providing a well-rounded experience for lots of different users.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the various parks. We mentioned Pine Road Park. We're here at Whitetail, but there are other locations throughout the community. And let's talk a little bit about their opening times and the accessibility to those, if you don't mind. JJ, if you don't mind.
Okay, I can't speak on behalf of Highland. I'm not sure on what their hours are, but I do know that Pine Road Park is open. They close at 10 p.m. The campsites are open. They have pavilions for rent, and they also have trails.
Okay.
And then there are a number of core facilities that have campgrounds that are open seasonally, depending on, or the hours depend on the season. So, and we encourage you to visit the Corps of Engineers site to find out more information about those campsites.
Oh, okay. All right. And talking about, because the various tournaments are so important to our to those numbers that you mentioned early on. If there was a group that was interested, how do they get in touch with you all to schedule something here on the lake, or how do they go about doing that? I guess is my question.
Well, if it's an event that is going to require a lot of help from the community in terms of maybe volunteers or additional resources, then contact the Chamber at 706-884-8671, and we can help start the process. Things that go through Pine Road Park, JJ handles those.
Okay.
And you can give that number.
And that's 706-883-1670.
Okay. And I know that just like any parks, I know, the interior parks of the city, we have some set rules. Can you kind of go over what those rules are for as far as the parks are concerned, if y'all don't mind?
Like I said, the park opens at sunrise because, fishing tournaments and all like to start at first daylight.
Okay.
The park closes at dark, which during the summer is usually about 10 p.m. And there is if you just come and fish on your own, there is a small ramp fee of like $3, and you can purchase passes as well at the rec center.
Okay.
Highland Marina also, I'm sure, has their own parking, but they probably operate sun up to sundown, if I had to bet.
Okay.
But it's, it's open to all. We've got lots of people that come out. I mean, 4th of July, we have over 1,000 cars come out just for 4th of July fireworks. And that's local and surrounding counties. So it's a good time. It's a good time.
Absolutely. And you know, you mentioned fishing, and I haven't been fishing in so many years. And I'm gonna ask a question you may not be able to answer. Fishing license, are they required on West Point Lake?
They are absolutely
Okay.
required.
Yes, they
I'm
are.
not sure what the fee is, but
Okay.
it'd be a state license. So
A
that's
state license.
required.
Okay, that's something I hadn't done. I like to, would love to do more of that, but just hadn't been able to do a lot of that in the last couple of years. So, you know, again, we're talking again with Dave Marlin and JJ talking about the various recreational facilities that we have in our communities and all of the various things, tournaments. You mentioned earlier about the rod benders and the bass tournaments that I think a big draw for our community, and then the weekend tournaments that are just held here and provided locally. And I know that there's one for the veterans too that are put on. Can y'all talk about that one, if you don't mind?
Yes, we have one coming up. I think it's Memorial Day weekend that a group is putting on. And we have multiple veterans tournaments that are scheduled throughout the year. But I think our most recent one is coming up Memorial Day weekend. And if you call me at the office, I can give you the contact information for that as well.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. Well, again, we're out here at Whitetails, beautiful lake, great asset in our community.
Absolutely.
And I know that you both have the finger on the pulse and know about all those visitors. Sometimes probably get a little overwhelming, I'm sure, but we definitely welcome the tourism and those numbers to go up. Dave, if you had to just put a number out there for 2018,
I would
what would you say?
expect that number probably to grow another maybe 3 or 4%.
Okay.
The numbers that we get from the state always lag a year. So if I were to say what would that 2017 number be that we get in January of 19, I would say probably close to 163 million.
Okay.
You know, and then I think we can't do this without talking about Great Wolf that's having their grand opening on May 24th. And the impact that this is going to bring to the community. And that impact is going to radiate throughout the community in terms of the number of visitors, which they're projecting more than 500,000 visitors a year, that will, again, certainly they'll stay there, but they'll be shopping in our local shops. They'll be dining in other restaurants. They have to buy gas. They have to buy snacks. So it's going to have a tremendous impact on our community.
Absolutely. Great place to be, Troup County, City of LaGrange, you know, with the tourism, with all the various tournaments that we have going on, great place to be. And I know that you all are very happy, just as I am, to be here, part of all the growth that's happening here in our city.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to thank both of you all for coming on the show today. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment.
Nobody wants to be stopped by a law enforcement officer.
Everyone wants to feel safe.
So we've trained our officers to first listen and then explain.
We ask if you have contact with one of our officers, you listen, give him an opportunity to explain, comply with his requests, and if there's a problem, contact us so that we can investigate your complaint.
Listen, explain, comply, then complain.
Our safety and yours matters.
We love our town. I love my street. I love my street.
I'm West Point Mayor Steve Trammell. Did you know Webster's Dictionary defines litter as things lying about in disorder, especially bits of rubbish?
I love my town.
I love my town.
I love my street.
I love my street.
I love my town. I love my town.
And I love my town.
I'm Hogansville Mayor Bill Stankiewicz. Did you know litter cleanup costs in the U.S. are roughly $11.5 billion? And in Georgia, they're $14.6 million.
I love my town.
I love my town. I love my town. I love my town.
Litter decreases property values by up to 15%.
Litter kills wildlife, diminishes water quality, and is a factor in several motorist deaths every year.
Littering is a crime. If you are caught littering in Georgia, you could pay a fine of up to $1,000.
I love my town.
And I love my town.
We love our town! I love my town!
West Point loves you.
Hogansville loves you. LaGrange loves you.
Troup County loves you.
Love it back.
Love it right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As I stated to you earlier, we're out here at beautiful Whitetail Park off of Roanoke Road, and as you can probably now hear that it is raining, but we are high and dry thanks to our great friends from LGTV, Keith McDowell and Philip Sledge, along with one of their friends, Jeff Simmons. So we want to thank them for this beautiful tent that we're under here, keeping us dry. And also now I'm being joined by environmental health specialist from the Troup County Health Department, Tashar McFarland. Tashar, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Tashar, you hear the rain falling?
I hear it.
You know, on these days, it's just really hard to kind of get up and get out of bed to come to work. You know, you just want to kind of lounge around.
But with so much heat we've had lately, I
that's
appreciate
right. We welcome the rain
coming in now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, Tashar, I do thank you for coming out today to kind of to talk with us about some things that we all need to know about. You know, we're out here on the lake today. We know that the many visitors are going to be coming out, taking advantage of it here, boating, you know, fishing, recreational.
Right.
But we definitely want to talk about how they can keep themselves safe during the summer. Right. But before we get started talking about that, I know that you've recently taken on this role as environmental health specialist. Tell us first a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, I've been with the health department for 3.5 years now. Recently in March, I became an environmental health specialist, so I switched departments. In environmental health, a lot of people don't know we're tucked away in the health department, but we do a lot of things to help the community. We do restaurant inspections, pool inspections, septic tank inspections. So we do a lot that helps keep our community safe. But so I've recently taken on this role, so I'm sliding my way through it, but I'm in the company of some great people who've been there, you know, many, many years.
Yeah, so. I don't want to start naming anybody, but there's a guy in that department by the name of Randy West.
Yes, okay. Of course Randy West is there. And so, look, I'll make sure I tell him that you mentioned him here.
Okay, all right, yeah. Randy's been around for a long time. Yes. I had the pleasure of working with Melody and Melinda.
And we also have Benny.
And Benny, that's right.
And we have Patty Gammons. She came from a different county,
that's
but
right.
She's also working with us. Okay. And we have a great receptionist, Michelle Davis, who also works there.
Like I said, I didn't want to start mentioning names, but I just know that Randy's
so
been around for a long time.
If you mention, I'll pick up the rest of
it. Okay. Now, let me ask you, Tashar, and it's so important. You mentioned about restaurant inspections, pool. Why is that so important, you think?
Well, it's so important because those are the things that, we were talking about tourism and everything, but those are the things that people come here for when they're coming from out of town. And also our families right here in Troup County visit pools, and they also visit restaurants, and we want to keep our community safe. And so the role of environmental health is to step in and make sure that these facilities are regulated, and so that we can keep our families safe when we do visit these places.
Absolutely, and a much needed service that we have here in our community. And I just want to kind of deviate just a little bit because we're going to talk about summer safety, but talk about some of the other services that are available through the Troup County Health Department, if you don't mind.
Okay, we also offer different services like immunizations. We offer women's health services as well as child health services. Vital Records is also housed in the Troup County Health Department, where you can come in and get birth and death certificates. We offer services from itty bitty babies all the way up to grown people. So just come in and you can check out our website at any time. Just to see what different services we offer.
Absolutely. And a lot of times I think we kind of tend to overlook the health department, and it is a vital resource in our community as well. And I know that I remember growing up as a kid, I always was taken to the health department.
That's the only place I went for shots and all that stuff. So, but we offer many more services. So, come in and check us out. We're still on Dallas Street. Not us down on the square. We're on Dallas Street down from the stadium. So.
That's right. Absolutely. Now, let's talk a little bit because, like I say, the summer, it seemed like it came in really quick on us this year. I think we went from winter to summer.
Exactly.
And like I say, this week we're enjoying some wet weather, so we definitely need that. But let's just talk a little bit about some summer safety tips. And I want to talk about, I know a lot of times we see in the news about mosquito bites and Zika and things like that. Talk to us about that if you don't mind.
Okay. Well, of course, Zika has been in the news, over the summer because when something impacts, especially children, gets in the news really quickly. And so Zika is easily passed through mosquitoes that are infected, and they can pass it to other people as well. Here in Georgia, we do have those type of mosquitoes that can carry that virus, and so it is of a concern here in Georgia. However, the cases that we had here in Georgia last year, thankfully, were travel related, so there were people going out of the region and bring them back. But of course, we just want to, you know, just be aware that mosquitoes can pass other diseases as well. And so the health department and public health, our role is just to make sure that we control the mosquito population. And, you know, do things to prevent us from getting bit by mosquitoes.
Let me ask you, you're talking about preventing mosquitoes and, you know, being aware when you're outside. You know, because normal times during the summertime, everybody wants to wear short sleeves. Like myself, I wore short sleeves today. What can we do, you know, as far as like repellent and stuff like that? Is that advisable, or what's your...
Well, using an EPA registered repellent is advised, and you know, in general, most of our stores, that's what our stores sell here. And also there are other things that we can do, like wearing long sleeves. If you know you're going to be out prolonged periods of time, especially going out into the woods, just wearing something long sleeve to cover your arms and legs, that'll protect you from mosquito bites, of course. Also wearing light colored clothing. A lot of people don't realize mosquitoes are attracted to darker clothing, so just being out wearing light colored clothing, avoiding things that are real fruity smelling or flower smelling perfumes of those nature, that can help prevent some mosquito bites. And just our biggest campaign for DPH is just the tip and toss program. And tip and toss basically means that if you have something outside that's holding standing water, that's the perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes. And so just making sure that we just notice those things like toys and bird baths and old trash, even like something as small as a bottle cap can grow mosquitoes. So just making sure that if we don't need it, you tip it over, get the water out, or you toss it away if you don't need it.
Trash it, And you know, you think about that, you're talking about a bottle cap. A needle, a mosquito go in, a larva in that.
Yes, something that small. So just making sure that we, you know, just take an inventory of your yards and just making sure that, you know, even like children's toys and things like that, making sure that we're keeping standing water out of them. It's raining now, much needed rain, but after this rain, of course, mosquitoes will have a nice breeding ground. So just going outside, making sure that any standing water is not there.
And I'm going to ask you, you're probably too young to know about this, but I'm going to ask this question anyway to Char. You know, sometimes back, you know, when I was a kid, I remember my parents used to burn, you know, just things to kind of smoke mosquitoes away. Is that,
you know, well, hey,
whatever works, right?
Whatever works. You know, that's what my folks did too out there. I mean, you know, I don't know the statistics or anything on that, but, you know, that also just, you know, it helps to get rid of any kind of standing trash that's in your yard. So, hey, whatever works,
it works.
You know?
I got you. All right, you know, because we're talking about people, but we also, you know, you were talking about wearing long sleeves. I wanted to ask about like ticks as well, because I remember, you know, and know that when you go out in the woods during the hot time of year, sometimes you get these various ticks. What would you advise to kind of prevent those?
Well, again, if you know you're going to be out, just wearing something that covers your skin. Now that helps, and also, you know, when you get back in, especially young children, my daughter had a tick on her. She had softball practice, and she had a tick on her a couple weeks ago, and we were not in the woods. You know, we were at the baseball field. But just, you know, making sure you check young children, check them over, and also yourself, just to make sure there are no ticks on there, you know, on your body, because they come on and they're so easy to attach to you. You don't even realize it, you know, and some of them can stay on you for a couple days and you don't even know it. So just making sure that you protect yourself with long sleeves or something like that when you go outside.
Again, is there a repellent that you would, you know, advise that people utilize, or?
Well, I mean, most of the ones that they sell in the stores, they have 20 to 30% DEET in them, and so those are the ones that are EPA registered. So most of the ones that we sell in the stores here, you know, any of our local stores here, are those EPA registered repellents. So using those when you go out, and just making sure you read the instructions, because, you know, I know when, you know, these mosquitoes out, people just want to go, you know, spraying everywhere. But just making sure you go by the instructions as well.
All right. And you know, so many times, you know, you're outside, you know, we're taking care of our kids, take care of ourselves, but there's a lot of times we have our pets out with us as well. What advice or what can you tell us to do to try to help keep our pets safe as well?
Well, you know, pets are prone to a lot of the same things that we are: mosquito bites, bites from ticks, and also succumbing to the heat. Obviously, we went from winter to summer-like weather very quickly, and so making sure that we are monitoring our pets that are outside, just protecting them by. And also, people don't realize that water that we feed our pets out there, good breeding ground for mosquitoes as well. So just making sure that we're changing their water regularly, keeping them updated on all their shots, and also just using the veterinary, you know, whoever your vet is can recommend something that will prevent mosquito bites and flea bites and that kind of thing.
Okay, well, very good. You know, like I say, with the summer coming on and with all the various things, you know, that we can do to prevent, you know, to keep ourselves safe, you know, these are very important tips and everything of such of that nature. You know, and as we get ready to close out, if you don't mind, touch a little bit about, because on pets and other stray animals and things like that, you know, maybe in our community, if you don't mind.
Right. Well, you know, our pets are outside, and you know, they're protecting us with bark and everything, but it's our job to protect them as well. It's not uncommon here in Troup County for, you know, us to have our pets be bitten by stray animals and everything. So just make sure that you're monitoring what's going on in your yard, monitoring your pets, and main thing is keeping them up to date on their shots. Because, you know, a lot of these things, even if they are bitten by something, if they're up to date on their shots, they'll be better off than if they were not. So just make sure we're monitoring our pets and monitoring where they are and their environment, and, you know, just keeping trash and everything down to keep away fleas, ticks, that kind of thing. It'll help out.
All right, well, very good. Well, Deshawn, you know what? Our time always gets away from us so quickly, and I know that you're excited about your new role as an environmental health specialist. So I definitely want to have you come back on the show a little bit later on, just to kind of tell us how that's going. And definitely,
I would love to.
Okay, we'd definitely love to have you come back on, because there's some other things that we wanted to touch on as far as, you know, summer safety, things of that nature. Okay.
All right.
So thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment.
What can you recycle? Does the city recycle plastic?
Yes, the city recycles plastic.
We accept bottles, containers, and jugs.
Please rinse and clean them. Because if you don't, they're considered contaminated. And contaminated items are thrown away.
Plastic bags are not accepted. No grocery bags, no dry cleaning bags, and no trash bags. Does the city recycle tin and aluminum?
Yes, the city recycles those items. But all items must be rinsed and cleaned.
Don't put these items in plastic bags.
Because if they're not clean, they're contaminated.
And all contaminated items are thrown away. Does the city recycle cardboard, newspapers, or magazines?
Yes, the city accepts these items.
Cardboard boxes need to be broken down.
And packing materials must be removed.
If the cardboard isn't broken down, it's contaminated.
And those items are thrown away.
If the items are too big, place it by the bin.
Did you know that 30% of our curbside recycling is contaminated and thrown away?
Please help our community and our environment and recycle smart.
Please help. Recycle is smart.
Recycle smart! Recycle smart! Recycle smart!
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us City Week this week. As I stated earlier in my start of this program, we're out here at the beautiful Whitetail Park off of Roanoke Road. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you once again to Philip Sledge, Heath McDowell, and Jeff Simmons for keeping us dry here under this nice tent here, even though it's raining, as you can see in the background. Ladies and gentlemen, my guests have been from the Troup County Chamber of Commerce, Dave Muller, the Vice President of Marketing and Tourism, along with J.J. Kersey from the Troup County Parks and Recreation, as they talked about tourism and the number of economic impact that it has on our community. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I had on from the Troup County Health Department, Tashara McFarland, environmental health specialist, as she gave us some summer safety tips to keep ourselves safe as we enjoy this beautiful 26,000 acre lake behind us here. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have enjoyed us this week, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.